Hello, Michigan gardeners. This is Doug at Buzzard Farm, just outside of Marshall, Michigan. Today it's April 10th, and I'm working on dividing some of the miscanthus in the garden, some of the maiden grasses. This particular one I'm working on is what they consider one of the more dwarf zebra grasses. It only gets maybe 3 to 4 feet high in terms of its foliage, and maybe 5 to 6 feet high with its plumes in the fall. It has horizontal banding on it like you see with the zebra grasses, but again, it's sometimes called a dwarf, but realize that dwarf is relative. And dwarf in this case, they're talking 3 to 4 feet, 5 to 6 feet with the plumes, whereas the regular, more typical zebra grass can get much taller than that and gets a bit floppy in the garden, so I don't really care for that one in the garden. This one is positioned between a couple of peonies. It's a peony over here on the left, peony on the right, so I have to be really careful when I'm digging. And I've already dug part of it because it's such a hard process to do. I didn't want to spend the whole video showing me jumping on a spade. So I went around the entire grass, digging as much as I could underneath it. Then I kind of quartered it down through the middle. I had to really jump on the spade to do that. And then as I lift pieces out, I can then show you that part where I'm kind of, again, having to almost jump on the spade to break them into smaller pieces. I'll plant something back, I'll put some in the garden, but really with the miscanthus grasses, you want to put them where you want them. And again, this is where I want it. It's just gotten a bit big, and I want to take it back in size, and also to have some to sell here at our farm market. So I've almost got this piece up. It's a fairly big piece. And there I've got it up. This one I didn't get quartered, but now I just want to take some pieces off it so that I can get it into pots to sell. Sometimes at the outer edges. You can get a piece off fairly easily. In this case, that's not the case. But there's a piece, and you can see how fibrous and deep the roots are. So I'll do that. And I'll keep working at this piece. I'd like to just set it on its side in the hole in which I dug it and keep splicing and separating it and getting more pieces. So you can tell I'm kind of out of breath. It's a workout when you do one of these things. Not a bad idea to have some help. But again, I'm trying to avoid some of the stuff around it so I don't jump on the spade and fall on something that I really kind of value in the garden, like the peonies. We'll get a few pieces to sell, and then I'll replant one of those pieces back in there, adding some compost. I use a little bit of horse manure and old potting soil that I have, just mix it in with the soil that's there. And then I try to keep them at a manageable size. This one got actually quite big before I got to dividing it, but it works better if you can dig them, if you want to get more pieces before they get too big. So I do have a smaller piece here and a smaller piece here from last year when I dug at this particular maiden grass, and then I'll plant another smaller piece back and try to divide them before they get too awfully big. But again, if you're planting them and you've got a wall or you've got a fence or you've got something that you want a screening on, you can plant it, leave it up. You can leave it up all winter. Looks really pretty in the winter, and then in the spring, in March, one of my first videos was on that. You can just cut it down as low to the ground as you can get it, and it'll come back and it'll be beautiful for years. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.